we have invited guests from the different non-governmental organizations. We'll start off with the National Coalition for the Family and Constitution. We're joined by former Chief Justice Maria Lourdes Sereno and also Pastor Carlo Dino.
Thank you very much, Senator Win Gatchalian and Risa Hontiveros. This is such an enlightening forum, and I'd like to thank all the resource persons for making all this data available to the Filipino people. I hope that we will have more of this. Now, the support of government, the agencies for CSE is quite interesting, but allow me to show you a slide that differentiates sex education, sexuality education, and CSE. It is not well known in the Philippines that CSE is a technical term. That is proven by the very fact that the UNESCO uses the word International Technical Guidance. It is a brand. In other words, when you use the word CSE, you are referring to the world that has been created and is embodied by two documents, the UNESCO Technical Guidance and the WHO Guidance. Now, let's focus on the screen first to find out what these three differences are. What the RH law actually talks about is sex education. And the National Coalition says we want sex education. And you are all in agreement that sex education can address the problem of teen pregnancy and HIV. And we are fully in agreement with you. In fact, even the private Christian schools and Catholic schools teach sex education. But then it differs. So sex education from a scientific and age-appropriate way can be addressed already by the various initiatives you are doing. Now we jump to the other world, which is sexuality education. And here, you will already have concepts that you will usually find in women's and gender studies. And that is shown by the slide shown to us by Senator Gatchalian, where there is an exploration of one's own and others' sexual identities and orientation. And I heard some remark that there are really areas of concern for parents. So when you talk about sexuality education, it is already exploring identity and going to the very foundation of who we are. Lalaki ba tayo o babae tayo? And then the second is, it recognizes and respects different kinds of relationships and ways of expressing love and intimacy, which is another slide that was shown to us by Senator Gatchalian. That was in many of the lessons here in the UNESCO Education Technical Guidance. And then it talks about values, attitudes, and beliefs related to gender roles and expectations. And of course, it addresses social, cultural, and ethical issues related to sexuality. This goes already far beyond the RH law. With all due respect, with the representatives of the DepEd, the RH law only talks about what are to be contained in education for adolescents, and this is in section 14. So it says only when they become adolescent. That's pretty well discussed, and there's a consensus about the need to find out if that age is appropriate. Second, it's about reproductive health education, which falls within the first column of sex education. It requires that it be integrated only in the relevant subjects, which means you do not, unlike the focus of DepEd, which is to integrate it under the DepEd Order number 31, lahat ng pwedeng pasukan ng CSE. And then it talks about, it can involve self-protection, it can involve responsible teenage behavior, gender and development, responsible parenthood. But you look at sexuality education, this already brings in the whole world of gender ideology. And there is where the great cultural debate will come in. And then you look at CSE. So it is even more dramatic than sexuality education. Of course, there's the biological aspect, which falls within sex education, and we fully agree it must be science and evidence-based. It talks about management of STIs, contraception, and safe sex practices. Well, there is a debate about what is safe sex. Because if you look at the UNESCO guidance, safe sex is basically consent plus contraception. The UNESCO documents, while it talks about abstinence, emphasizes that abstinence is ineffective. On the other hand, the fantastic research by the International Institute for Research and Evaluation made a longitudinal study of 3 countries and more than 60 state schools that concludes that abstinence, CSE is ineffective, it has a very high failure rate, and it is very promising to show, to look and study at abstinence programs, because the initial data that was being generated was that abstinence continues to be the most effective way of sexual risk avoidance. So we have 2 different concepts: sexual risk avoidance, which can be taught in sex education, and the courses against sexual abuse, etc., for the protection of children. And there is the sexual risk reduction, which CSE is about. So if there are already very strong studies about the failure of CSE in many jurisdictions, why are we continuing it? Look at the others that will be taught under the UNESCO program. Relationships, understanding different types of relationships, including friendships, romantic relationships, family dynamics. Consent, emphasizing the importance of mutual consent. Remember that this is for children. Gender and sexuality, exploring gender identity, sexual orientation, and the spectrum of human sexuality. Rights and responsibilities, educating individuals about their sexual rights. Well, we are talking about children here. Children are, is it an acceptable concept that children have the right to decide when, with whom, and how to have sex? And the importance of respecting others' rights. Values and attitudes, encouraging discussion on values, attitudes, and beliefs related to sexuality. And emotional aspects, addressing emotions, self-esteem, and mental health related to sexuality and relationships. Mr. Senator, I will go to one important, I will show the slide later, but this is one important review that was made by the Safe Schools Alliance of the UK, which is a very secular organization made up, including LGBTQ scholars, members. They basically say, whenever you allow CSE into the curriculum, the study says there are 2 mutually reinforcing documents, the UNESCO document and the WHO document. The moment you talk about sexual rights and the moment you explore further sexual identity and go to gender talk, and these are LGBT people, then all protective protocols, and the most protective protocol is safeguarding, immediately break down. They canvassed all kinds of studies, all kinds of curricula and materials that were spread in the UK. It was uncontrollable. And that was your concern, Mr. Senator Gatchalian, when you were asking, when you were training teachers, kaya ba nila mag-refer sa UNESCO? Ang sinasabi ng Safe Schools Alliance, the moment ginamit mo yung brand na CSE, it's a brand, it's a technical term. Siyempre, papasok yung mga dokumento, and the moment those documents come in, bukas na. It's like an open door. Hindi mo na yan masasara. Kasi ang exploration of the materials that our children will be exposed to is just outrageous. It's just outlandish. So, and then, of course, they talk about emotional aspects, the feeling. Kaya nakakita kayo ng slide kanina ni Senator about how do you feel when you touch your body. So, sa Pilipinong magulang, nakakagimbal na ang mga ganito ay nag-exist. Ito po yung picture ng dalawang dokumento. Okay, and then we go down sa kabila. Next, yung thought bubble. Ito po ang mga pinag-uusapan dyan. Masturbation, contraception, sexual rights, anal sex, oral sex, gender identity, penetrative, sexual intercourse, sexual pleasure, consent to sex. Yan ho ang wide open field. Kaya nung sinasabi ni Senator Gatchalian na may concern siya about the UNESCO technical guidance, nag-iisip na talaga tayo dapat, ano ba ang pintong binubuksan natin para sa ating mga anak? My position is, ang ganda na ng mga sinasabi ng ating mga government agencies. They are for sex education and we support them. Hanapin natin ang reason. Pero hindi ganito ang bubuksan. Kasi tingnan nyo, no? Ito yung sinabi ng no to CSE ng Singapore. Ayaw na ayaw nila and the Singapore government agreed with them. Ito ang analysis nila. Ito daw ang ginagawa ng CSE according to their study of the materials and what is happening in other countries. 5 to 8-year-old children be exposed to sexual behavior, teaching it as an expression of love. Senator Win, yun yung sinabi mo na expression of love, including sexual behavior. 5 to 8 must define family to include same-sex unions and other kinds of choices. 9 to 12-year-old children must describe how to feel sexual pleasure. 9 to 12-year-old children must masturbation. 12 to 15 teenagers placed at risk to unnecessary sexualized close friendship. 15 to 18 must become LGBT and abortion activists. 15 years old must understand homophobia and transphobia. Nangyayari po ba yan dito sa Pilipinas? Let me go to the next slide. Yan po, isang successful program po na napresenta namin sa inyo, Senator Win Gatchalian, pati yung mga na-expose na sa prostitution, nagka-new life, pero values-based ito. According to what is important to our Filipino children, dreams nila. Hindi ho sila tinuruan ng mga contraception, etc. Although I agree that at one point they must learn, pero finokus sila sa pag-forge ng dreams nila. Ito po ang mga nangyayari ngayon sa curriculum that was rolled out in the DepEd. Ito ho slides ko. Kinuha ko sa rollout slides nila ito. DepEd, Grade 1, pagpakatao. Sexual and reproductive parts are vital parts of the body. The body parts can be described using the different sense organs. So na-shock po ako nung nakita ko, can you in a grade 1 classroom, talk about your sexual parts? May maliliit na babae at lalaki dyan. Taste, smell, hear, feel, di ba po? Ano pa ba? See. The sexual parts of everyone. At nung nakita ko yung kung ano mga nandun sa ibang mga bansa, kung paano ito tinuturo, yung differences, pinapakita talaga graphically. And ine-emphasize that everybody has a different sexual part. That's very young. Grade 1, kinder, etc. Pinapasok na ho. Sa grade 3, pagpakatao, slide 27, sexual and reproductive parts, inuulit po nila. Kaya, sir, from the DepEd, tingnan nyo po yung mga slides na rinol out nyo noong 2022 September. Kasi pinakita nyo po sa lahat ng teachers na pwedeng kapkapan ng katawan ang isa't isa sa isang classroom, hipuin, pag-usapan, tingnan. Babae at lalaki, walang magulang. Then, grade 3 sa science, ganon din po. So, nandiyon yan sa grade 1, nandiyon yan sa grade 3. Then, pagpunta po sa slide 40, ang content po, ano ang issue na pag-uusapan? Imbis po na, ito hindi ko naiintindihan paano ipapaliwanag sa ating mga guro. Gender and sexuality. At kung titingnan nila ang UNESCO guidance, lahat ng klaseng gender ay pwedeng tanggapin basta self-defined. Reproductive health law, same-sex marriage, grade 10 po, ina-expose na sila sa ganyang possibility, prostitution at pang-aabuso. Bakit hindi pag-usapan ang marriage na heterosexual? Bakit ang same-sex ang ipapasok? Ang content standard po, ang mag-aaral ay pag-unawa sa kahalaga ng pagtanggap at pagtanggal sa paggalang sa iba't ibang perspektibo na may kaugnayan sa samot-samong issue ng gender. Tingnan niyo po yung next set of slides. Dito po sa Araling Panlipunan, performance standard, ibig sabihin po dito gradean ang bata. Ang mag-aaral ay nakabubuo ng dokumentaryo na nagsusulong ng paggalang sa karapatan ng mamamayan sa pagpili ng kasarian at sexualidad. Ibig sabihin, you choose your gender and your sexuality. Learning competence, natataya ang bahaging ginagampan ng kasarian gender role sa iba't ibang larangan at institusyon. At dun sa higher paragraph, nasusuroy ang iba't ibang salik. Ibig sabihin po, magre-research sila ng gender discrimination sa bahay. Kung ako teacher, ibig sabihin, magkwento nga kayo anong nangyayari sa bahay niyo, anong sinasabi ng nanay niyo. Tama ba na mayroon tayong mga same-sex relationship? At ang mangyayari po ay basically it's making our children talk about what is happening in the home, violating the constitutional requirement that the state shall protect the sanctity of family life. At i-report yun, ma'am, sa bahay po nila, ayaw po na nila na kami ay nagbibihis, babae o lalaki, kontra sa aming mga biological sex. So you can understand already that the gender activism is being promoted by CSE. This is not RH law. So in slide 41, it says that you should research on the different gender roles in the different parts of the country. So there are going to be gender ideology researchers na ipapaliwanag ang iba't ibang salik na nagdadahilan sa diskriminasyon, sa tahanan, paaralan, trabaho. Meron pa nga dito, hindi ko makita yun, pati sa church, no? So what are our children at the age of what? 14, 16, 15. Galit na sa atin. Galit na sa generation ko. Kasi hindi ina-affirm ang belief nila kasi kailangang maging learning competency nila na ang gender natin is ano ang ating gusto at ano ang ating pipiliin. So that at the time, there should be sensitivity to acceptance of the sexual aspects of personal identity. Ganun na lang po ba ang ating emergency na kailangan nating bulabugin ang pagkakilala ng ating mga kabataan sa kanilang mismong identity. Kung anong pagkakapanganak nila, bakit hindi natin kailangan gawing komportable sila doon? Bakit kailangang matakot sila at ma-introduce ang concept ng identity crisis? Ayan po nga, sa grade 8 pa lang, as early as grade 8, this is 12 to 14. Ano ang mga concerns daw? Identity crisis. Dati po ang dato natin, wala tayong identity crisis. Pero dahil may iba ng mga pag-uusap na nangyayari sa lipunan at sa tingin ko pati sa school, ayan na, pag-uusapan ng identity crisis, sexual identity and sexual behaviors, premarital sex, teenage pregnancies, and abortion. And then i-explain ang health benefits. So cost-benefit analysis ang itinuturo, hindi dreams. Hindi po yung mga ating religious and cultural context. Protected po ang right ng family na ang unang pagtaguyod sa bansa ay ang kanilang pundasyon na mga foundational values. Kaya kampiho ako sa inyo lahat, tamang sinasabi nyo. Kaya lang ito po ang ituturong karagdagan na ngayon lang po natin pag-uusapan bilang bansa. And then ito po, bago mag-graduate, kailangan kaya na ng bata na mag-explain that there are many ways of expressing love and that sexual activity is a mature way of showing care and affection. And identify ways for friends to express feelings to each other. Show positive attitude to the expression of admiration, friendship, and love. Ito po ba ang pinag-usapan natin sa RH law? Hindi naman po, di ba? This is beyond the RH law. This is illegal and unconstitutional. expenditure of public funds for an intended cultural transformation to which Filipino parents have never agreed to. So yan ho. And then I will show you, no? Yung three portions po. First column, the left column is the DepEd slides I showed. The second column is some of the slides that Senator Win showed, and the last is the WHO. Ganyan din po, pare-pareho ho. Itong mga concepts na ito ay kinuha sa UNESCO o sa WHO. Compatible ho sila talaga. Ayan po. Hindi ko nababasahin kasi binasa ko na. Yung iba nga sinabi na nga ni Senator Win Gatchalian. We can distribute these slides for you to see na parehong-pareho po ang track. Ang ituturo talaga, ang isisingit na nag-o-object tayo ay yung view nila ng pagturo ng gender and sexuality ideology. Ibang-iba ho dito yan. Tingnan niyo po ang sabi ng DepEd. Ano ba ang CSE? From their own mouth, ito po ang slide nila. Rights-based, gender-focused approach to sexuality education. Tapos dun sa pinakakanan, okay tayo sa gitna, no? Yung sa HIV, yung STIs, scientific development, good. Maganda po, DOH, good. Go po tayo dyan. Pero tingnan nyo yung sa kanan. Includes discussions about family life, relationships, culture and gender roles, and also addresses human rights. Yung right to sexuality of children is made into a human right. Bakit po? Nasaan yung parental authority natin? If children can decide when, with whom, and how to have sex, and threats such as discrimination and abuse. Okay. Tingnan niyo po kung ano, yung tinatanong niyo po, Senator Win, naintindihan po ba ng mga teacher kung ano ang CSE? Ito po ang pagkakaintindi nila. Yung unang slide po, ito po ay sa Facebook page. Naka-entry na ang CSE. Comprehensive Sexuality Education, CS members, CSE officers, sineselebrate nila. All of them are wearing rainbow-colored clothes, signifying that it is a win for the LGBT community. Second, yun pong post tungkol sa implementation ng CSE. Ito po kasamang AHF Gabay Community. Successful daw po na linunch nila ang CSE at namigay sila ng condom. So, ang CSE associated sa LGBT at sa distribution ng condom. Hindi ko alam ngayon, Senator Win, napakaganda yung tanong mo, paano hindi malilito ang mga teachers kung ganito na nga. In fact, doon sa mga kwento sa amin ng mga magulang, ito na po ang mga nahalaw namin. Number one, kinakabahan ang mga teachers. Some feel that their religious convictions are being violated. Some told the parents na i-promote na ang CSE at wala kayong magagawa. Shocked ang mga parents. Meron na po sa eskwelahan at willing naman siyang itago lang ang kanyang pangalan at personalidad. Sinabi na ang CSE ay tinuturo na kailangang ituro pa na maglagay ng kondom. Yung isang teacher, at ito po ay sinabi rin ni Secretary Briones sa amin, hirap na hirap yung mga teacher lalo na pagdalaga na magturo kung paano i-handle ang kondom. So ang ginawa ng teacher, gumawa na lang ng video mula sa internet para pakita kung paano i-handle ang kondom kasi hindi niya kaya. Another classroom, ang sinabi naman daw, yung paglagay ng kondom para i-demonstrate, linagay sa TV remote control. So nagkakaiba-iba ho ang pananaw tungkol sa ano bang dapat ituro. Makikita niyo maraming takot, pangamba, na parang pati yung mga paniniwala nila ay sasagasaan at yun ang malimit na pinag-uusapan ngayon sa mga sirkulo ng mga parents na nababahala tungkol dito. Ang reference ho dito ay yung DepEd Memo Order 2018. Alam ho natin lahat yan, no? At ito na nga po ang reference sa UNESCO. Yun na yung tinanong niyo po, Senator Win, itong UNESCO ba susundan? Wala hong mga kapigil na ang curriculum natin ay magiging kahit pa paano kukuha sa UNESCO. At sabi dun sa Safe Sex Alliance, no? Konti lang ang kaya mong kuhain sa UNESCO guidance na hindi na alam ng mga health authorities ng iba't ibang bansa. Kaya si DOH, Yusek Domingo, napakadami niya ng alam, pwedeng doon na natin kuhain yung field of knowledge from the health professionals. Ang sinasabi nila, hindi pwede yung documents na ito kasi manggugulo talaga. Kaya kailangan pong tanggalin ang word na CSE from any Philippine law, any policy, or any program kasi nakita nyo, ang kanilang pinakapuso ay pag-defend ng right ng mga bata to have sex. Ito po ang funding nitong programang ito. Nakita niyo po, without authorization from the legislature, gumamit na sila po ng GAD Fund, SEF, MOU, at sinabi nilang kukuha sila ng Memorandum of Agreement with UNFPA, UNICEF, POPCOM, and other NGOs. So ito na po ang nangyayari. At balikan ho natin paano pumasok ang CSE sa mentality at paano naging popular. Ito po ang timeline na ang DepEd mismo ang nagpakita. Noong 2005, sabi ng DepEd, ang UNFPA, tumulong sila sa Adolescent Reproductive Health Program. Maganda po yun, no? Life skills-based research, and we thank UNFPA for that. In 2005, yung ARF materials ay na-develop at ginamit na nga ng Bureau of Elementary Education. 2009 po, research-based monitoring and evaluation of the project implementation was conducted in schools. No po? Sorry po. Opo. So ito buo na. Okay. 2009, nag-research po sila. Noong 2009 po, nagkaroon na ng UNICEF videos na tumutulong para i-address ang HIV among high school students. And then at the same time, in the same year no po, nagkaroon na ng guidelines ang DepEd against child teaching about child sexual abuse. Pero critical po ang year na 2015. Yan po ang pagtuunan natin. According to the DepEd, inauthorize nila ang Likhaan Center for Women's Health, which is headed by Dr. Sylvia Claudio right now, and PLCPD. Ma'am, with all due respect, kayo po ang present chairman ng PLCPD, pero baka hindi ho kayo chairman ng 2015. Ang DepEd ay inatasan na maggawa na ng CSE. Wala pang CSE in any law, in any executive order at the time. Pero pinagawa na ng CSE standards. So, tanong ko po, na-clear po ba ito sa Senado at sa Kamara, nagagawa na sila ng masyadong radikal na programa na lampas-lampas sa RH law. Nagva-violate pa nga ng RH law. So, itong PLCPD po, at thank you po, sir, na nandito kayo, ito po kasi ang kanilang legislative agenda. Magna Carta, Adolescent Pregnancy Prevention, Repro Health Law, SOGI, and of course, dito po sa Adolescent Pregnancy Prevention, yung CSE po, basically, ay medyo supporter sila. So, ang tanong ko po, as a matter of conflict of interest, kung ang Board of Trustees po ng PLCPD ay nag-agree na may legislative agenda at yung Board of Trustees na yon are made up of senators and congressmen, nauna na pala po magdesisyon, hindi po ho nakakonsulta ang taong bayan. May mga experts po at may NGOs involved. Nasaan po ang mga parents? Tandaan po natin, yung Repro Health Act, pati yung Parenting Effectiveness Service Program, both are very important bills. Inuulit nila yung nasa konstitusyon na pamilya ang sentro ng pundasyon ng bayan, na hindi pwedeng mabawasan ang parental authority, na ang religious freedom ay assured. At sa Article 4, Section 4, sabi nga, walang kahit anong batas, polisiya o programa na iusad ng hindi kasama ang mga magulang. Ang data ho natin will show na ang lakas-lakas ng religiosity ng Filipino parents. Na-consider po ba ang religious convictions? So, ito po na paliwanag nyo na lahat na nagdi-decrease ang teenage pregnancy at nakakatuwa na nagdi-decrease. Pero may problem pa tayo. sa yung bumabatang edad, I suggest na tingnan yan from the view of statutory rape. DOJ, nasaan po kayo? Tingnan rin po natin yan in terms of parental effectiveness sa program. Ang ganda po ng tanong ni Senator Gatchalian sa DSWD kung umaarangkada na nga ba yan. Kasi yan ho, ang baka ma-unlock natin yung susi tungkol dyan. At yan po, no? Talagang bumababa na ang teenage pregnancy, nakakatuwa. Pero tutukan natin po yung mga batang edad. Maganda ho yung health orientation ng DOH at ng PSA. Maganda ho yung parental insights na binigay nyo. Okay, pero ito po ang kailangan nating tutukan, yung PISA. Alam nyo po, dun sa policy review ng CSE program sa iba't ibang bansa, common ang reklamo. Ang dami ng problema ng edukasyon. Bakit tayo nagtututok ng pera, oras sa CSE na hirap at naglabag sa kalooban ng mga teachers? Kaya yung inyong pong yung assessment after the piloting, kailangan itanong, meron bang pagtutol ang mga teachers? Kasi nung kinausap ko po si Secretary Briones, ayaw daw ng mga teachers. Lalo na yung mga dalaga, ayaw nilang ituro yung ganung mga bagay. Sa Singapore po, ang sikreto nila ay mayroong mga specialist na magtuturo nito. May maganda ho tayo ipapakita. Ito po yung kanilang chart, no? Maganda ho at iiwanan ko kay Senator ito. Ito po ang failure rate. Ang taas po ng failure rate, no? 87%, 89%, 89%, 85%. Tapos, mukhang posible daw na may positive yung abstinence-only education. Kasi nakakita silang ng 17 studies. Ito ho ang recommendation nitong US-based research group that has been conducting research on sex education for more than 30 years, and it's considered as a consultant for many state education boards. Given the threat posed by STDs, HIV, and pregnancy to the health and well-being of young people worldwide, the compelling lack of evidence for school-based CSE, and the concerning rate of harmful impact, we recommend that policymakers abandon plans for the global dissemination of CSE and pursue alternative prevention strategies for reducing the negative consequences of adolescent sexual activity. Further studies of the positive findings for abstinence should be done to inform the development of such paradigms. Ito naman po, maliit nga po ang screen ko, no? Pero ito po yung sinasabi kong UK-based group na secular at may mga members pa ng LGBT. Sinasabi po, these documents, referring to the two documents, are highly influential and present a very clear and present danger to children across the world that requires extremely urgent intervention. This threat comes in the form of sexuality education, often described as positive, comprehensive, and holistic, and which seeks to sexualize the child in both theory and practice, reframing child safeguarding and parental engagement as a threat to children's human rights, well-being, and development. So these questionable approaches are currently informing policymakers at international levels. Nalilito daw po sila. Curriculum and resource producers at national levels and educators at local levels. And harmful and sexualizing resources inspired by these approaches have already reached the youngest children in their classrooms and other educational systems. It was found that former protocols that ordinarily prevent or respond to the exposure of children to sexual material are evaporating with the introduction of CSE. These are being replaced with questionable belief that exposing young children to sex-positive graphical sexual content is essential to further children's so-called human rights, sexual rights. WHO and UNESCO standards conceptual and ideological approach undermines and misuses any ethical and legitimate case for good quality, age-appropriate, and timely sex education. I will just immediately go to ito pong slide na ito. Pag tayo ay mag-implement ng CSE at i-review na po ng UNICEF ang CSE implementation so that the DepEd will understand. Ganito po ang gagawin nilang review kung magaling kayo mag-implement o hindi. Sabi po nila, ang problema yung Thai educational institutions is very focused on reducing the incidence of unwanted pregnancy among youth and neglects the importance of teaching about gender, rights, and power. So power dynamics ang ituturo nila. This state of affairs is rooted in the origins of sexuality education development in Thai institution that has mostly been driven by the goals of reducing HIV and unwanted pregnancies, which we're all talking about. Yun ang goal natin. The teenage, as a result daw kasi masyado tayong laser focused ang Thai sa teen pregnancy and STI prevention. Sexuality education curricula are centered on prevention, but cover the root causes of related problems less fully and therefore pay little attention to teaching about respecting sexual rights and gender equality. Sexuality education in Thailand is aimed at solving specific problems. This does not correspond to the principles of CSE, namely that it must be a rights-based and gender-focused approach to sexuality education, which goes beyond a focus on prevention of pregnancy and sexually transmitted infections, UNFPA 2011. Therefore, to ensure that sexuality and education in Thailand becomes truly comprehensive, meaning it achieves CSE goals, policymakers at the ministry level need to pose questions about the general framework of education. In particular, teaching sexuality education based solely on solving specific problems may not be sufficient to equip students with analytic skills to make informed decisions about their relationships and sexual lives. Educational institutions need to place more emphasis on teaching about equality, sexual rights, and gender to cultivate attitudes that help to solve sexual problems at their root. Now, let me just go to the Singapore Ministry of Education slide. Nando sa una yun, ano? Yan. This is Singapore. Slide 5, please. Ang Singapore, ang tingin nila, their curriculum is not religious at all. It's holistic and secular. But sexuality education is to be taught through science lessons, character and citizenship education lessons in primary schools, secondary, junior colleges, and millennia. Teens programs. It is taught in the context of mainstream national values, according to students' development needs. Mainstream national values, not far out values that are alien to Filipinos. Our sexuality education curriculum is anchored in Singapore's prevailing family values and social norms, which the majority of Singaporeans want to uphold. Marriage is defined as being a union between a man and a woman. Sexuality education teaches students what homosexuality is and the importance of mutual understanding, respect, and empathy for everyone. In another page, however, you can see that it talks about abstinence as the most effective approach, and it really keeps on emphasizing that casual sex is harmful. So unlike the UNESCO that says, there is a line there, abstinence is proven to be ineffective and can even potentially harm the youth. So that's on record, and I can show you the part where it says that. So my point is there is a Filipino sexuality educational curriculum that we must strive for. And it is urgent because of the introduction of materials, gender identity confusion by age is now increasing. This is the slide 43, please go there. You can look at the increasing ages. Now, at the age of 31, at the age of 12, there's already a 1/3% or 31% incidence of gender identity confusion. Same-sex attraction by gender is also increasing. Is this the kind of issues we want to address in our schools? Our school system is not equipped. Our parents are disenfranchised. So I suggest that any new law, please go to 39, must be constitutionally compliant in every respect. It must be respectful of our culture and religions, rejecting gender ideology and not indoctrinating children and molding them to be activists for gender ideology. Schools must clearly say that there are only two sexes, respectful of the sanctity of family life and not encourage children to spy and report on their parents, life affirming and not implying that abortion is a good option for pregnant women, does not look down on abstinence and character strengthening, must make children comfortable with their own bodies. Children must not be led to think an identity crisis is normal and that they have the right to choose their gender. Must allow children to walk out in the classroom in protest if their sense of right and wrong is being violated. Must always give parents the option to opt out their children, except for mandatory biology classes. Must involve the parents in the curriculum and module content and not undermine their parental authority. Must fall within the ambit of the reproductive health law, which basically talks about sex education, the first column, plus health concerns, plus avoiding teen pregnancy and responsible parenthood. That's what RH law is saying, not CSE. The Youth in Nation Building Act, which requires that every youth development program under Section 2, Paragraph B, must instill faith in the Creator. So the Youth in Nation Building Act, the programs of Attorney Tina must show that there is a religious and spiritual component, that the spiritual and moral character of our youth is compliant with the Constitution in Article 2, Section 13, in Article 14, and in Article 15. So there is a duty on the part of the Youth Commission to do that. The Good Manners and Right Conduct Law, which under Section Rule 7.1.1 says that there must be an enforcement or strengthening of faith in a divine being who is the source of help. And according to the implementation design, I still believe that the Parenting Effectiveness Service Program of RA 11908 is the way to go, and must observe the constitutional guarantee in Article 14, Section 2, that religion can be taught in public schools during regular class hours at the request of parents. It must disassociate itself from the brand CSE from every angle, as well as avoid the adjective comprehensive in describing the curriculum of or program, because as long as the Constitution says that there is sanctity of family life, there are things that the school cannot teach, which must be within the private sacred space of family life. It must contain safeguards in the implementation, the curriculum, modules, and the actual teaching itself. As you can see, the reports are sumasabog talaga ang CSE to ensure that children are not taught that they have sexual rights, including to touch and pleasure themselves or others, to decide when, with whom, and how to have sex, and that sexual activity outside of marriage is a mature way of showing love. So we are fully for sex education that is science-based, solving a specific problem, meaning teen pregnancy and health, but it must be done within the ambit of constitutionally protected rights, our culture, and existing statutes. I submit that the CSE program of DepEd has gone beyond what has been authorized. I submit that we need to investigate paano ba talaga nakapasok yung concept ng CSE sa larangan ng ating public institutions. I submit that parents must be consulted and the religious sector must be involved kasi sila ang pinakamalakas na foundation for character strengthening. Thank you very much, Mr. Senator and Madam Senator.
Thank you very much, Chief Justice. And